Hello guys and welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to be making a beginner's rubber ducky script to put on our rubber ducky and test out. All you need is the equipment you get with the rubber ducky, and now let me explain how that works. And here we go, here are our parts. First we have the converter to mobile, which you can plug into your mobile phone and use your mobile phone as the machine to write Ducky scripts on and stuff. And then we have the SD card right here. It's 128 megabytes. I don't know if you get this with the rubber ducky because I actually got it as a gift and it's pretty cool. I think 128 megabytes is way too much. Like, you don't even need that much, trust me. Okay, so the next thing that you have is the package for your USB right here, which you just put it and clicks together. It's really simple. You don't actually need to paste anything with glue. And then you have the rubber ducky itself. It's actually pretty insane. Look how nice it looks, and you can actually see the place where the memory card goes. But you plug this into victim PC and not in your PC. So for your PC, you're going to use this thing. It's the same thing. It's like the USB. You also plug in your SD card inside, and then you write code, and then you put it on that. And once it's on that, it's actually on the SD card itself, and just replace the SD card. So this one is the safe trigger for, basically the safe trigger for the rubber ducky, so you don't have to plug in the rubber ducky. 219, and there we go. Now we're gonna pack this thing together, and there you go. Now you press it, and now you're ready to put this into your victim's machine. So basically all you need to know right now is to put your memory card inside the USB that goes into your PC, and then you just plug it into the PC. So let's plug it in. There we go. There we go. And it's gonna get recognized on disk D. In my case, it should be right here. There we go. And now it's gonna say, you're not gonna have this map, but you're gonna have the loss.dir maybe if you ever plugged into the phone. So all you need to know right here on the disk D is that you need to have the inject.bin. That's all you need to know. And what is inject.bin, you might ask yourself? Well, that's the code you're going to put onto this USB, and this USB will actually put it onto the memory card. So once it's on the memory card, you're just going to put it in your USB, and simple as that, you're going to just drop it into the victim's machine. Now, some problems might occur, and I'm going to explain every one of them that I've had so far. So right here on this website, you're going to be doing most of your writing because it's convenient. It's a great website, and they have payload generators, payload encoders, decoders, and the community's user scripts. So right here. So let's first get into the payload generators for Windows, for example. And let me just show you right here, so you can pick your delay. I don't know what this is. Why is this extending? Right? It turned me into the mobile side probably because Windows Explorer, the Edge, whatever. So right here you have recon scripts, and you got the computer information, USB information, user info, all the sorts of stuff that you want. Maybe you want to scan the network and ports and extract the SAM credentials for Windows, and you want to screen capture or stuff like that. In the screen capture, you're going to have to pick the place to save the screen capture at, and you're going to use the network scan. You can use 12255, the regular one. And then you have the delay right here, as I said, and you can pick the language. Now, there's a certain problem with the language because some language is not here. If your language is not here, don't worry, I'm going to explain how to fix that. And keep in mind that in between everything you run, you need to have a delay. Now, this might be too much delay. It depends on what kind of computer you're dealing with. But as I said, you always have to have between any commands some sort of a delay. It can be 100 delay 100, which is like a one, like what, millisecond? I don't even know. It's like a 1/10 of a second. And then but you have to have some kind of a delay because there are slower systems, and I messed up so many times because rubber ducky will do exactly what you tell him to. So it will run, it will press the Windows key and R and type CMD regardless of what's happening. So that means if it fails to do that, it's just gonna keep doing that, and it's gonna write CMD, and it's like, it can be a real mess if you put a lot of things. Especially on this website, you can just check a lot of things, and then it gets bugged out really simply. So you're gonna have to manually learn how to code this anyways, just to fix the problems, not to rewrite the whole thing. Like, these are some great ideas that you can use. And then you can reverse shell whatever you want, add administrative user, disable the firewall, and you can save to USB or FTP it or email it or save to the computer. Now, ideally you would save it to the USB, but then keep in mind that your USB right here, right here is going to be on F. Now it depends on how you, I guess, mounted the rubber ducky. I don't know. I feel like I can split the memory card in two pieces and maybe make the F. But the question is it going to be on the F drive? You know, it doesn't have to be always on the F drive, and so that makes a little bit of a problem. So I don't really recommend saving to the USB. Maybe ideally saving to the computer, but then you have to like copy it manually to your USB or whatever. I don't know. Maybe this can be bypassed somehow. There's probably an easy way that I just don't know of. Haven't figured out, but didn't work for me. First of all, when you plug in the rubber ducky, it detects it as a keyboard. So I guess even if you do the partitions, the question is, would it work like that? I don't know. And then even if it would it make it mounted to the F? What if the F drive is used? You can never know that. So I guess you could FTP it or something. I guess you could do that. Let's take a look. If we FTP it, we can try. You can probably try to FTP it, but I don't know if that's gonna work. I never actually tried this. Basically, let's just say that you save it to the USB or whatever, and then you fill out this information. It's really simple to fill it out, and then you go create payload. And you're gonna get the injecto bin that you're just gonna place into your directory right here. Once it's here, you can just unplug it and put it into your rubber ducky and just give it to the victim. So you have the decoder, which decodes your injecto bins to the text that is actually like the code that is used. You have the user scripts, which is pretty useful. Some users are posting their tests, and some users are posting some useful stuff. And you can download those, or you can go to the encoder, which we're going to be using, and you can actually write the code yourself. So let's get started. So one thing when you want to do is you want to start with a delay. So let's start with a delay of 300, for example, in order to, let's say 500 actually, in order for it, let's say a second. So this is a second, and you can write comments, I think, with rem. And basically you want to start off with 1 second right here because you want the USB to load fully. And then you want to, you know what, I don't know how fast my laptop is, let's just do 1.5 seconds. And then let's do GUI R. So what this will do, GUI R, what this will do is it will run the run window. And then right here in the run window, we want to type in the CMD and press enter. And this will lead us to the CMD. But you have to keep in mind that there's going to be a little bit of a delay. So once this is done, you want to wait for it to start up. So let's put a little delay over it. Delay, let's say 500. And once it starts up, we want to string CMD. This basically just means write down CMD. And then you can actually, you don't actually have to capitalize it. And then you can, after that, you can delay for another 500. And then you can enter. So this will enter into CMD. And then now you can delay 700, let's say, and then now we can write string color 0A to change the color to green, and then we can say delay 500 and let's say enter. And now let's say delay 400 and let's say string hello world, and now let's say delay 500 and let's say enter, right? Actually we can just put this into an echo, right? And then it's gonna print out hello world. And now the great thing about this is it will work if you have like all of these languages, so that's great. But if you don't have these languages, you're gonna have to use something like this. So I figured this out somehow. I made the hints file. So the first thing that you want to know is to put the delay. I already said that. And the second thing is you want to change the language. So language change command on PowerShell, for example, is this one. You can easily just set the language, this one to be first, which is English, which we already have right here. And then set the Croatian in my case, and then set the force. So this does not require administrative privileges or anything like that. So you can do it on any PC and you can add that language. So the problem is you can't just write it like this because Rubber Ducky will type this out, but it will use the previous layout. So in other words, if you have your own, let's say, I don't know, Russian layout on your keyboard, it's going to use the Russian layout on the keyboard to write things out, kind of, but it's going to attempt to write the English things. In other words, if you, on a Russian keyboard, like, okay, let's just say on my keyboard. So on my keyboard layout, it's actually Croatian. So if I want to write this, I think I will actually get on English keyboard this or something like that. In other words, all you have to do is switch to English keyboard and then figure out what gives you this line right here. So, and then keep that in mind when converting to the uh, keep that in mind when converting to your language, or how in case of your language you would get to giving it a false thing to convert to the dash. So in this case, the false thing is the slash, and once it tries to write the slash, considering my keyboard layout, it will actually just write the dash. It's complicated, but if you want, you can read this and you can see the command that I'm using. So all in all, if you have one of these languages, you do not need to go through this. If you want to adjust languages, you can simply do it with this command, but keep in mind of the layout because it gets messy, right? So anyways, now that we've got this out of the way, for me, this works. So in other words, I'm just gonna go before I run the GUI. We don't want to like test this, so we don't want to test this because we know that it's going to mess up. So all we need to do is run the PowerShell.exe before it. So in order to do that, we're going to need a lot of delays. Let's say delay 600 and then enter, and then delay, we're going to need a big delay right here. Let's say a second and 2 milliseconds. And then now, actually we can just do 300 because we already did 900 here. Anyway, so now before this, let's put 2. I feel like we're gonna need that, and then let's put, oh my god, let's use the GUI and R in order to open our run menu, and then in it we're going to first delay 600, and then we're going to write this in. So this actually should be string PowerShell.exe and this thing, and then delay and then enter. So it will open up this, it will wait for 0.6 seconds, and it will write all of this, right, like this. But in my case, since it's going to be exported in English, it's going to attempt to write it through English. And since it can't, it's going to, like, since I have the Croatian layout, it's going to write, if I put this, it's going to write this, and if I put this, it's actually going to write this. So you get what I'm saying. So if I give him this kind of command, it will actually not look like that, because it will not actually look like that. It will have the dashes that it has to have because of my layout. Okay, I hope you guys got it. It's complicated, but you're gonna figure it out. So anyways, once this goes through, it's going to run and it's going to wait. Enter, and then it's going to wait, and then it's going to run the GUI plus argin, write cmd, and then do the color and hello world. And then if we write XYZ, in this case, it should be the actual XYZ because we did not convert the language. Now, if you want to convert the language back as well, you can use this command. I'm not going to, well, it's actually basically the same command. So keep in mind to switch the symbols again. Anyways, but I'm not going to go deep into that because I feel like half of you guys already have the English language or whatever. The language is right here. Okay, so one thing that I want to do is I want to start the YouTube video. So I want to start this one right here. So instead of starting the CMD, why don't we just run this? It's going to start a YouTube video, and it's going to, well, we don't actually need this. So let's put this out, and we need enter to start the video, and then once it starts the video, we're gonna use the delay and it's gonna stop working. So right now we're going to GUI plus R, wait 500, write this and wait 500, let's say wait 700, press enter and then wait again, although you don't need this delay on the ending. So then this will run the PowerShell, change the language, and then it will run the video, and that's all it's going to do. But as I said, if you want to run CMD, you can do that as well. If you want to change back the language, you can do that as well. And I'm actually going to do that. So this is our inject.bin, and let's export it, encode the payload. Yeah, whatever. And GUI is not a valid command. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right. Okay, I think we're fine. So you can download the inject.bin. Why? Okay, so now that we've downloaded our bin, let's just pretend this is the one, but I coded this one before. The only difference is it actually just opens CMD and writes something instead of ipconfig. For some reason, I cannot export it right now. I don't know why, something's going on with my browser, but never mind. So once you have the inject.bin, let's cut it up and let's put it into our USB. And it's actually on the memory card right now, because that's what USB does, is actually just like forwards it to the memory card. And let's plug out the device. Now let's put the fucking USB in. Right, so there we go. Now it's in the rubber fucking ducky. And now let's plug in the rubber ducky to see how it works. There we go. Okay, it's in. Let's take a look. So what it's gonna do is gonna run the Windows, and then it's gonna add the language. And as you can see, it converted to the dashes, and the language is successfully converted. So the CMD opened and started the YouTube video, and there we go. It's starting up. And now the another CMD is running, and it says okay. It says unknown PC error. Oh no! And now it's reverting back to the old language. And there we go. Problem solved. And now it's just gonna stand and wait. And it started blinking to let me know that it's actually done. So there it is. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, you can leave them down below in the comments, and you can in fact make reverse shells and stuff like that. It's actually easy. It's not detectable by an antivirus because it detects it as a keyboard, and it works on pretty much every system. So there it is. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a nice day.